the settlement is not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when, and it will be relatively soon. So, I'm lined up my portfolio for this settlement. Once this happens, the suppression is gone. We are going to see this price go through the roof. And
all right. Welcome back, everybody, to Altcoin Daily. My name's Austin, here with Aaron, joined by the man, the legend, Ben Armstrong of BitBoy Crypto. Man, how you doing?
Oh, I am doing great today. Anytime the boys get together, get to talk about some crypto, it's a good time.
Absolutely. And we love being around the blockchain, which I think your audience sees us on, and we love having you on. And would it be fair to say, just to jump right in, that you are the leader of the XRP army? Is that fair?
The supreme leader and master commander of the XRP army. Yes, I have over the last year have definitely rolled into that.
Yeah, and you've been a believer. You're definitely keeping your community updated. Would you just give us, for those who don't know, XRP is a token that's meant to be used for cross-border payments with the banks. Ripple, the company behind them, is currently being sued by the SEC. Would you just give us a broad strokes rundown of where Ripple is in that case right now?
Yeah, so basically just the 30,000 foot view of what's going on there is the company Ripple Labs, which is behind the XRP token, is accused of selling securities, and that security is the XRP token, a sale that I believe started in 2013. And there's a lot of discrepancy over the level of centralization and whether or not it truly was a security and what are investors going to do today. But the long and the short of it is that, is XRP a security? That's really what is at the heart of this argument. And right now we are in the midst of, it seems like a large lull in this case, to where for weeks it was like every day there was hot and heavy action of, Ripple was doing this, the SEC was doing this, they were going back and forth, the judge was ruling on this. But it really is, for the last few weeks, things have really gotten quiet. And, to me, I believe that is because the settlement, I believe there is a settlement coming very soon. So to paint the settlement here, we've got three possibilities here for what could occur. And I think only one of them is going to occur, or even is actually a real possibility. But number one, Ripple is found guilty. XRP is declared a security. That is worst case scenario. In that case, Ripple's in a lot of trouble. Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson, the co-founders, are in a lot of trouble. And then also, it's potential that in the United States, XRP as a token could get the death penalty, meaning it can never be on an exchange again. Internationally, could still have some momentum, but if the United States, it declares it dead, it's going to be dead. The second possibility is XRP is not a security. Ripple wins outright in a landslide. They crush the SEC. The SEC looks terrible. They got egg on their face. XRP gets relisted everywhere. Life goes on, hunky-dory. The third possibility is what is going to happen, which is what we've seen in almost all of the SEC cases in the world of crypto and blockchain, which is a settlement. So that settlement, I believe what is coming is they're going to settle over marketing practices. So they're going to slap Ripple on the wrist with deceptive marketing practices regarding their token sale. It's not going to be declared a security, and then it's going to get relisted. The SEC gets to save face by saying well, we gave you some infraction. Ripple Labs comes out way ahead because they're able to get relisted, and then the token price is going to explode.
Interesting. I guess my question for you, more on a personal level, is have you bought more XRP, or are you a hodler?
Yeah, for sure. We now have, I don't know where the price is right now. I mean, I know where the price is right now. It's $1.05. Depending on where the price fluctuates here at BitBoy Crypto, we do have over $1 million in XRP. Right now, with the price dropping over the last couple of weeks, it was up to about $1.30. We're at about $920,000 worth of XRP. We have 868,000 tokens. So we put our money where our mouth is here. We did cross over the $1 million threshold, but it dropped back down. I had my first portfolio video I did, which I believe was back in early May. I think we had about 250,000 XRP tokens. And that really shows you where our belief is just since May, since the crash, we've been able to reaccumulate, almost 1 million XRP tokens, because I believe adamantly that when this case is over, and listen, all of the things I talk about on my channel regarding Ripple in this lawsuit, timelines get fuzzy because there's a lot of moving parts. But the settlement is not a matter of if. It's only a matter of when, and it will be relatively soon. So, I'm lined up my portfolio for this settlement. Once this happens, the suppression is gone. We are going to see this price go through the roof. And, I definitely want to take advantage of that with my portfolio.
I could definitely see that. Do you think, though, let's say it does clear with the SEC, or they get the mild slap on the wrist like we've seen so many times before, do you think that a major bank will announce the adoption of XRP token by the end of the year or in 2022? What are your thoughts on that?
That's not really important. It is coming. So the timeline to me is not super important. So I don't think that by the end of the year, it's like if, JP Morgan says they're going to use, ODL or RippleNet, that's going to make the price explode. After the SEC lawsuit, the next potential explosion point for XRP, and now this could be explosion point from the bottom of a bear market or in the midst of a bear market. So it doesn't mean it's going to, if it goes to $15 by the end of the cycle, if this next thing happens in the bear market, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go above that price. The public offering, the IPO of Ripple, which is coming, all they're waiting on the SEC lawsuit to get over with, so then they can start rolling that out. So that's really what people should be paying attention to beyond the SEC lawsuit. It is certainly not like which banks are going to be adopting it. Almost all the banks are going to be adopting it over the next, 4 to 8 years. That it's not super important. It happens in the next 1 to 2 years. So I don't know what major domino is going to fall. We do have Santander working with Ripple. We've got a lot of banks in the Asian Pacific region, the APAC region, working there with Ripple. We've got banks in South Korea and Japan. We have banks in Africa starting to flirt around. We got Middle Eastern movement as well for Ripple. I can't remember the name. Tanglo, I think, is a Middle Eastern company that's working with them now. So this stuff is all going to happen in time. Really what we're worried about with the SEC lawsuit is like the timeliness of this bull run. It needs to happen pretty soon.
Speaking of that, and final question before we pivot to price, but you say like it's inevitable, whether it's 2 years or 4 years or whatever, that banks adopt XRP. But does it concern you that we just saw MoneyGram partner with Stellar Lumens, a competitor? I mean, banks have other options.
Not necessarily. Stellar Lumens, I don't think this is what it was meant to be in the beginning by any stretch of the imagination, because Jed McCaleb, one of the slimiest guys in crypto, but Jed McCaleb, certainly had a different plan for what he wanted to do with Stellar. But Stellar is going to become basically a canary network for what is going to happen on the Ripple blockchain. So watch for whatever move Stellar is making. Watch for Ripple fairly soon afterwards to make similar moves. You kind of look at Stellar almost as a precursor, especially when it comes to CBDCs. Like Ukraine is talking about doing their CBDC on Stellar. Watch for movement there, kind of as a precursor, like I said, to things Ripple will do in the future. Ripple's also talking to some places about CBDCs as well.
All right, let's go to our final question. And I do want to encourage everybody from the Altcoin Daily audience, subscribe to BitBoy Crypto, linked below, one of my favorites in the space. My question, Ben, let's talk price. Any merit to the 589 XRP token price? Where did this prediction come from?
Yeah. This is very important. Somebody better call Pomp in for this one. Just kidding. No shade. No shade.
I love that debate. I loved it.
A lot of people liked it. It was definitely very convincing one way or the other, depending on who you like. But so the $589 price, it comes from a guy named Bearable Bull. And this is a guy who's very popular in the XRP community. There's a lot of, it's funny, like we have crypto influencers. We also have XRP influencers, and that's all they talk about is XRP, and it's their specialty. That they know more about it than I do because they're in it every single day while we cover a wide variety of topics. But Bearable Bull, basically, I believe it was in late 2018 or early 2019, he came up with this notion that if all the banks in the world used XRP And if if all of the money transfers and remittances in the world were controlled by XRP, literally every one, somehow he worked some math to where that would mean we had a $589 XRP. So there are people in the community that do believe that that is possible. I'm not going to totally rule it out and say one day that could potentially not be possible. I mean, if all of the banks are using it, you start to run into almost like a money supply problem, but then you can get around that with derivative. You get around the money supply thing over time. I encourage my audience to look at more realistic timelines for the next 4 to 8 years. Okay. So when we're looking at the price of XRP this year, I think in possibly extending into an altcoin season the beginning of next year, I would think we're probably looking at somewhere between a $12 to $15 XRP. If somehow it's the day that the case is over, it gets relisted on Coinbase, and then the next day they announce their IPO, it could potentially go higher, $20, $30. That is a possibility. But I think 12 to 15 is very realistic for this bull run for XRP on where this thing is going to go. I think if you look maybe 4 years down the road or 8 years down the road, you could maybe potentially map out a plan for it to get to $100. But the leap from where we're at today to get to, and I think $100 still may be optimistic, but I think the leap from where we're at today to get to 589 in a short period of time, in a period of time that's going to impact your portfolio in a meaningful way in the short term, it's just too far to get there. But who knows how much? If we have a $200 trillion market cap in crypto, which people like Raoul say, then I mean, high numbers are definitely on the table. But I just think you got to mix realism and what's realistic with the ultimate hopium or the ultimate, the most optimistic vision for where it can go. In the next 20 years or 15 to 20 years, I would say probably not going to happen.
I like how you kept things realistic. I agree with you. There's no way I could even imagine where the market could be, right, 10 years from now, as opposed to 15, 20. But I appreciate you clearing that up. Ben, I will let you go. But general final thoughts about XRP for the Altcoin Daily audience.
Yeah, my final thoughts for XRP are very simple. As a crypto community, we made fun of XRP for a long time. We mocked the people that said the banks were going to use it, or they're going to work with this government, or they're going to do this. And we've really come to a time, and also, as you guys know, we had this debate on the show, like, oh, the banks will use it, but they won't have to have XRP. Like, all this stuff was the talking points that we used for years. And it's time for us all to eat a little crow, and that's what I've been doing over the last year is there's a philosophical argument of centralization, decentralization is positive work with banks. Those are all valid, arguments and debates that we can have. But XRP is going to take over the banking system. There's no question about it. And they were all right, and we were all wrong.
I feel there still is a question, though. But I appreciate the perspective. It depends on, hey, do your own research. I definitely agree with you that a slap on the wrist is probably coming. And then it's up for the banks to fight it out and the cryptos on which protocol wins out. But Ben, I'll let you go. We'll be on Around the Blockchain sometime next week. But thanks again, man.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Always love coming on.